You're watching Oilersnation Radio.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Oilersnation Radio is back on a Tuesday. And this time, I promise, we are going to talk about the Oilers today.
Yeah, that show on Friday died pretty quick. It wasn't long after that Ohtani wasn't actually on the plane.
Real quick before we get into it, if you saw the vibe at Nation HQ from the time we wrapped up O&R on Friday to what, 90 minutes later?
About 4:30. Dead.
Very different mood in here.
I was sat out there with Brett and Tyler, and there was someone else there too for whoever it was. And Brett and Tyler, very big baseball fans, and the look on their faces as all this stuff was developing was priceless, to tell you.
Priceless. That's a weird way to frame my heartbreak.
I'm not happy to see that you were
Sounds
very
like you
sad.
But
It was just like, it felt like a bit of a meme where it's like you just someone at their absolute peak of happiness, and then bang, Bob Nightingale,
Boob Nightingale.
Then he mix him up with Florence Nightingale.
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Crushes dreams.
Although I take umbrage with Brett being upset because he is a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I'm not really
Kind of like Quads being like, boy, I really wish the Jays would have got Ohtani. It's like, Quads, you said you wanted the Jays to miss the playoffs last year. You can't come around now and whatever. But it's over now. The dream's dead. Ohtani got signed to one of the weirdest contracts in sports history.
Circumvention?
You would think it was circumvention, but don't say it's circumvention because they have weird rules in baseball, apparently.
Also, from his perspective, BM, you're a guy who understands stocks and money. Taking $68 million in today's dollars versus dollars 10 years from now, not the same $68 million.
Today's money is always worth more than future money.
Yeah.
Inflation happens,
So it's not really like a $700 million contract in today's money.
I just don't really get it.
I don't get it either.
Whatever. We're not
We don't need to get
the
it.
Rick DiPietro deal.
Well,
he's like Bobby Bonilla, but he actually is playing for the team that pays for him.
somebody tweeted before all of this came out. They said the Oakland Athletics have offered Shohei Ohtani $1 a year for 700 million years, and then they quote tweet after, and they went, actually, not far off.
I also loved the Riverhawks announcing that they were only $700 million short on their bid.
You're right there. Anyways,
Caca.
that'll end Ohtani sweepstakes. For all of you who listen to this podcast who hate baseball, your nightmare's over.
At least for 10 years.
Decent point.
Might be back in it.
Decent point.
We'll see what happens in 10 years' time. But first, it's time for the delicious debate presented by our friends at Wendy's. It's time when I tell you about the Daily Face-Off Wendy's Survivor Pool for your chance to win prizes weekly and a grand prize of $5,000. All you got to do is go to dailyfaceoffsurvivor.com, register, and there you're going to see some check boxes. Some of the options that you'll see. Which team wins? Which player executes this many hits? Which player gets this many shots? Maybe this player scores or that player scores. This team loses.
There's a few options on the board right now for you there.
Pretty easy to look at and figure it out. Although I will say, as a participant in the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor game, I am terrible at it.
Yes.
I have yet to make it past Wednesday, which would be day 3 of the tournament.
I've never made it past a Tuesday.
I haven't made it past day 1 yet.
Well, what would you go with tonight? There's a few options. Arizona win, Pittsburgh win, Nashville. I mean, I think
Florida over 29 and a half shots.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good.
That's the one I'm going with. It's also the one the majority, or it's the leader so far. It's at like 45% of the public is in on that. So I'm on that one too, just because I think they should be able to get to 30, but we'll see.
I like Evander King goal. He's an empty net assassin. And I think there'll be an empty net tonight.
Go check it out. The Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. That is dailyfaceoffsurvivor.com. That's where you need to be. Join us. Let me know if you can get past day 3. I challenge you. It is much harder than you think it is. I will tell you that much. Now, gentlemen, I heard that there was a little bit of a conversation on Oilers Nation every day that needs more clarification. What is our delicious debate for today?
Liam?
Tyler, would you like me to read it?
I would, because I wanted to phrase it something differently, and you yelled at me before the show.
Because it's my argument. The argument is the coaching staff better now than it was before?
It's largely the same.
Before when?
We're
talking Woody, obviously?
We'll say Woody. I mean, it's obviously the sample size is a lot different. But yeah, like the coaching staff in general, under Woodcroft and now the coaching staff under Coach Garlick.
So the new pieces are Coach Garlick, Nobby's in,
and Paul Coffey,
Kafefi.
and Dave Manson out, Woodcroft out. So I'm curious what you two think.
I mean, like, it's hard to
Tyler.
argue against the coach had the winningest record in franchise history.
Yeah, but my argument isn't necessarily about Woodcroft, but about what his coaching staff was doing under him. In the sense of, I don't think Manson would have got the defense playing this way, this specific way. I think what Mark Stewart is now doing more on face-off plays is incredible, to be honest.
But wasn't Mark Stewart around?
Yeah, but was he allowed to do all this? Because we never saw it. Like, that's the thing. Like,
Or
Stewart-
did they just happen to score a couple of face-off goals and now it's like, whoa, it's a narrative?
And
Um,
Glenn Gulletson made the power. Oh, wait. He's been here the whole time.
But the penalty kill has been unbelievable too,
Yes.
and that's under Stewart as well. And my argument is not that I'm not sitting here saying that Woodcroft wasn't a good coach for this team, because
Hang
that
on.
would be stupid and wrong.
Liam says Woodcroft bad. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, edit that the way you want. I'm saying I think these other coaches now have more influence on the game.
Do you feel okay? So you feel like they just have more leash to
Yes, that's
to
my
add
argument.
and implement
Their
structure
ideas
or
to
their
it.
ideas.
Yes, that is my argument. I don't think it's necessarily a Woodcroft and Knoblauch head-to-head fight for the coaching debate. I just think everyone else is contributing a little bit more to make this team better.
Tyler, before me and Dan chime in, sorry to cut you off, Dan. What was your rebuttal on this?
My rebuttal was that what the Oilers are showing me over this 7-game win streak, there's nothing here that they haven't shown us in the past under Jay Woodcroft. Special teams heater, goalies making saves, Connor McDavid going nuclear. They did this down the stretch last season. They're doing it again right now. They did it when Jay Woodcroft first took over from Dave Tippett. So that's just where I'm at. Is I think, and I stand by the fact that Jay Woodcroft is a hell of a coach, and I'm not going to back off that.
Dan, jump it.
So I think that Liam maybe, and I think Oiler fans in general, were kind of being sucked in by the PR campaign that's going on right now. Really feels like since this team has gotten the new coaches in, we've heard exactly what those coaches are responsible for and what they're taking ownership over.
Okay.
And so for me, it's no different than when Woodcroft came in and the media was talking about all the different things that Woodcroft was going to change and all the different things that I just said his name and now I can't think of it. Gulletson was going to do with his organization. And also we gave them credit for that stuff. And we talked about, Gulletson as the power play guru. And we had the power play, one of the best power plays of all time last year because of Glenn Gulletson, quote unquote. I'm with Tyler in the sense that like this team is the same team that Woodcroft had, and we were already seeing some of these things come out of the crap and into the positive for the organization before they removed Woodcroft. So I don't know. I guess it's just, for me, it's that PR campaign, specifically with Coffey. I think that there's been a ton of talk about how much he's done with this team and with the organization just in the short time that he's been here. But the guy was already with us for how long before that?
I think why Coffey is maybe being pushed a little bit more is because it's so unexpected of how everyone is playing.
Yeah,
Bouchard, sure, like maybe at the start of the season he wasn't playing the way he should have been, which is a case to turn it around. But like Darnell Nurse is playing the best hockey we've ever seen. Under him?
But do you think he was doing that before?
Do I think? No, I don't.
No?
I don't think
Yeah.
he was doing it before. I think he's had a very good season, but I think right now it's like, okay, he's doing some kind of crazy stuff here.
Yep.
Cody Ceci is taking a step. You're not seeing the errors, the blatant errors that we saw last season too. I just don't think they're happening as much. The scoring at 5-on-5, the penalty kill is at an all-time high, and I don't expect it to stay there. What did you say, Tyler? Like 25 of 26 or something like
It's
that?
insane. Yeah.
Like that's obviously going to drop off, but I really like how they've narrowed down the group. It just feels like there's more identity in a variety of places on the ice rather than just like, well, hopefully McDavid and Draisaitl goes going because we're just going to put them together anyway.
That's fair.
That's my argument. For it.
And my thing was, let's see if they lose to,
That'll
hopefully,
be the real test.
yeah. And if they lose after a 7-game heater, what would we see under Woodcroft? Lines changed for the next game, right? Back to McDavid and Draisaitl or away from McDavid and Draisaitl. He would go switch it up. I'm interested to see if Kris Knoblauch goes, whoa, Nuge, Hyman, and McDavid are one of the best lines in the NHL for the last 2 weeks. Just because we lose one game, I'm not going to split them up. Even if we lose 2 games, I'm not going to split them up. And if maybe there's a bit more consistency, because then that's something that I would directly attribute to. That's a new thing that drove me nuts under Woodcroft that Knoblauch's corrected.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, this team is still largely over this winning streak being carried by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, or Connor McDavid, not even McDavid and Draisaitl, just Connor McDavid. He's got 20 points. He has twice as many points as any other player on the team in this stretch.
Who else's point? Is that the list of this
Yeah.
team right now? So who else is scoring? Bush, Hyman, Janmark's contributing, Fogle and McLeod are chipping in with crucial goals. Derek Ryan was the one who scored them. Like, I agree. Like,
I mean, Fogle and McLeod, they're not chipping in with crucial goals.
Yes, they are. They scored
Fogle scored in a blowout. Ryan McLeod is an empty netter and one big goal.
Okay,
Once.
so
Okay,
I'm not
so
talking
one.
about as a collective of like, oh, they're doing it every night. But if you look, like Ryan McLeod sets the tone against Carolina. Derek Ryan scores the first goal of the game on Saturday against New Jersey. Like, you're getting depth scoring at good times. Matthias Janmark's the one in front to give him, what was it, a 4-2 lead against Vegas? Like,
Big goal.
I don't need the depth to score like 10 points through an 8-game stretch. I need them to score at pivotal times, and I would label all 3 of those goals at pivotal times.
I guess like my other thing too is we talk about like Woodcroft having to scramble. Knoblauch hasn't had to yet. He hasn't had that goalie even issue that Woodcroft was having at the start of the year, where guys just couldn't make saves to save their life to start the game. So I guess it's maybe just a little bit too early too for me to.
Yeah, the sample size is small for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's hard to, I mean, Woodcroft won his last game as Oilers coach. Knoblauch won the next 2. Then they lost a few, and then this heater started. So it's hard to like really give too much credit to Knoblauch, though I'm not trying to like discount what he's doing either. Where I do agree with you is I think that Paul Coffey has got the defense playing a lot more of like a skill game, a free range game.
The modern game.
Than Dave Manson was.
Mm-hmm.
You see a guy like Cody Ceci, even though he hasn't scored since, since we used to wear onions on our belt, as was the style at the time. But he's jumping into the play. And sometimes you look at him and he's got like a one-on-one look with the goalie. And you go, how the fuck did he get up there?
Nosebleeds.
So that's where I agree. I just don't know how much of the credit like we can fully give to a coaching staff that's still largely the same. Because like there's no way Mark Stewart was trying to come up with PK plan. I just don't think that Woodcroft be like, no, don't do that.
But the group, and Gazik pointed this out, so this isn't my idea, but like the group of PK penalty killers is smaller now. Like, you're not really seeing everyone get a chance at doing it. It's like
3 lines,
different groups. So similar to when Woodcroft came in and Derek Ryan had the cause, like we all know what we're doing now. Maybe that's what Knoblauch's doing too. And we gave Woodcroft all that credit then and said how much better he was than Tippett. So maybe this is just the same thing. But I really like what the coaching staff is doing. You can see it. It's so obvious. And I agree, like maybe Mark Stewart was doing these plays and maybe they're just being a little bit more emphasized now, but like they're so blatantly obvious. You look at that Winnipeg game and it felt like every single face-off was a set play and they were able to do something in the offensive zone, sustain pressure, just keep the puck there. You've seen 2 goals about it. Like you look at Rod Brindamore spoke about when they scored that second goal and Ekholm comes down and scores on the goal line. He said, he's like, we tried to defend that and they still managed to execute against us. It's like, yeah, it's McDavid. It can be whoever you want. He's your best player. He should execute on a consistent basis for you. But they're doing it all the time now. And that's what matters. They weren't doing it all the time before.
But like last year they did.
I don't remember ever seeing this kind of stuff.
From McDavid?
No. On the face-off stuff.
Ah.
Like, I just think it's something that's now part of the game, part of the Oilers game.
Yeah.
And I felt like sometimes you would watch other teams and be like, why don't the Oilers do that? And I feel like now I'm watching the Oilers play and outside just in general, where it's like, oh, they're playing really attractive hockey right now. And it just seems a lot different.
Sexy hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I love sexy hockey.
That's what I'm all about.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear from you. ON Radio Podcast, Twitter, and Instagram. How do we phrase this, Liam? What is the question to the audience?
I guess the question is, do you prefer this? I don't know. Like the question I have for the Delicious Space is the coaching staff better than before? I think I agree. I completely agree that sample size is small, and we'll see what happens when they face adversity. But they also did have a 3-game losing streak, you know, and they came out of that with 7 wins in a row, potentially 8 tonight. So we'll see. Like,
we'll see.
You know.
Let us know. Owen Radio Podcast. I want to hear from you.
It is kind of funny that not even Christmas, and they're back to a point where if they win their games in hand, they're in a playoff spot. It's like, all right. I was expecting a sweat. I was expecting them to have to grind into like February to get there. So, no, win 7 in a row. You're good.
Easy peasy. Should have just done this from the start.
To me, yeah. Like, why don't they win more games than lose? You know,
Not even close either. Like they're steamrolling teams.
That's what I want to talk about next. So since our last episode, the Ohtani episode, we'll call it.
RIP.
The Oilers have had 2 wins. Both good teams, in my opinion.
Very good team.
Minnesota, New Jersey on Sunday. What do you take away from those 2 wins? Because it's not like the Oilers' 7-game win streak is just bottom feeders here. Nobody can say that. They've got wins over Carolina in there too. Vegas in there. Tyler, what do you make of these wins that they're getting? And you can't just say it's garbage teams they're beating.
No, you really can't. And what's interesting about this is they're really controlling the pace at 5v5. Like that is where, as much as, you know, the bottom 6 still isn't scoring as much as you'd like and things like that, they're not getting caved and they're pushing play in the right direction. Like even a line with Sam Gagner and Derek Ryan is finding ways to consistently push play the right way. So that makes it easier for guys like Connor McDavid when, you know, instead of getting 8 offensive zone faceoffs to work with a game, all of a sudden Connor McDavid's getting 14 offensive zone faceoffs to work from a game. And that does make a big difference. That creates the Matthias Ekholm goal, right? Where they can set up something off the draw. So I do think the bottom 6 is pushing things in a solid direction, even if the scoring isn't where you'd like it to be for like a cup contender team.
Adam Ernie would say that the current staff that is not playing him is better than the old staff that wasn't playing.
He's been playing pretty well when he plays.
Yeah, I was gonna say when he plays, he's had a lot of time to think of a stew and think about that question up in the press box. I do like the idea of him just being a road player. Like they only play him on the road and then they play Gagner at home just because he scores at home. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff clicking in the right direction, but I still just think, you know, the rocket fuel behind this 7-game heater is Connor McDavid. 20 points in 7 games.
Is that good?
The dude is more or less himself creating 2 to 3 goals a game.
So you're saying that's good.
That's good. And your goalie's like a 940. So
well, he didn't hit my Connor McDavid to hit 3 points bet from the other night. So how good can he be?
Figure it out, 97.
You know? How good can he be?
For me, it's all about the coaching stuff.
Hey, Connor, go out and score more points than you have been. Oh, shit.
The coffee influence.
All right. Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Actually, Jeff Merrick told us a bit of a crazy conspiracy theory yesterday.
Oh,
We had him on the show, and I've never noticed this. But apparently there's the jersey tuck and untuck thing for McDavid, where at the start of the year, his jersey was untucked, which meant they think that he had some kind of protection around his injury, and now his jersey's tucked, and it's been untucked.
No,
it's tucked, and it's been tucked since this like stretch.
But
when McDavid got hurt, he had to untuck his jersey, and the conspiracy is that he had some sort of a guard around his hip, and that was preventing him from tucking in his jersey. He's now tucked his jersey back in over these last 7 games and gone absolutely nuclear.
Said that way better than I did.
So I think the most important thing is that everybody tucks their jersey.
We got to see this stuff.
It does make sense though. Like when Merrick said it, you kind of go like, "Oh yeah," like.
But like we knew he was hurt.
Yeah, but
So
it's
where's the conspiracy?
Like a flight from LA where everybody figures it all out.
Wayne.
I don't know. I heard the conspiracy there. I mean, it just
Anyway,
makes
I'm into
sense,
it.
but yeah.
Yeah, you're right though, Beckmilk. We knew he was hurt, and now he's healthy. So
Yeah, like he
Not much of a
didn't
conspiracy.
play a game because he was hurt, and he didn't finish that game against the Winnipeg Jets because he was hurt. Like I watched it with my eyeballs. I was here. Liam was here.
Yeah, but the jersey,
Conspiracy.
but was the jersey tucked?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. We got to lock in on this stuff, guys. Jeff said it, and I never even noticed. I
We need
just
to get
always
these
look for
details.
his
The
little
McTuft.
hair. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
we
that
know
was
about
it.
the McTuft. When that comes out, you're in fucking trouble.
Yeah, you're in
Anyway.
big trouble.
Well, way she goes. Another thing I want to mention from the last 2 wins that we haven't talked about yet is Sunday. Calvin Pickard gets thrown in net against the New Jersey Devils.
Big Cal.
That is a good hockey team. And Calvin Pickard only allowed 1 goal that, in my opinion, not a whole lot he could have done on.
No.
Played rock solid for the Oilers.
We took a ton of penalties against the best power play in the league right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So what
Only-
do you guys make of
only-
Calvin Pickard's play from Sunday? Because I
only-
thought he was fantastic. I think it also just let's put some cold water on the recall Jack Campbell.
Yes.
Oh, big time.
Bruce Kurlock today posted a highlight from today
Oh, no.
of him getting beat with a slap shot clean no one in front of him.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, when you just compare Pickett's numbers to Campbell's numbers in the American League, Pickett is better. Like, he's a good stopgap right now, right? Like, he's played in 3 games. He's been pretty good. You know, the Florida game, I think, what was it? The 1 goal he probably could have had back. But other than that, the Oilers were allowing like 2-on-1 breakaways on him all night. So
in his 3 appearances, Liam, 2.24 goals against average with a 917 in the NHL.
there you go.
I know he's only played 3, but like
Either way, like he comes into that Carolina game, allows 1, but the rest of the way, like makes a couple of saves because the Oilers a chance. It's just too bad they were already down by 6 goals.
yeah,
at
it's
that
hard to
point.
win when you're down by
But
touchdown.
they don't need him to be even a 917. They need him to do exactly what he's done and just give him a chance. And he's done that. And I agree, it puts some water on the Campbell debate. And also maybe gives the Oilers a look at things and being like, maybe we bring in somebody else other than a goalie right now. I think they still need a
What do you
goalie
want?
ultimately.
Well, of course we do, but what do you want? Let's get greedy.
I want another defenseman. I think they need another defenseman.
Which side?
Right side.
Who we
for sure.
upgrading?
I think you upgrade Vinny, although he's been good.
Oh,
I just think
Rick, earmuffs.
you need to go into the playoffs with a bit more depth on that side.
You want Nick Seeler.
I like Nick Seeler. I like Chris Tanev. That would be nice. Ken, if you're listening. There was another guy I had
no way,
to,
Calgary trades Kris Tanev here.
not to the Oilers.
I'd love it, but like,
Also, I think he got injured last night too.
Yeah, but they're saying short term.
And then I
did he
had
block
somebody
another
else
shot
as
with his
well.
face? That's a man's
Oh.
injury right there.
I want Sean Walker. I would like him. But if you can retain, it's like 1 point
Ah.
something million.
I think it. See, and I'm
Let me dream, Tyler. You keep shooting down my ideas.
If-
you don't like my coaching debate, now you don't like Sean Walker.
if I'm gonna go spend assets at the deadline, I want to get a guy that's better than Cody Ceci. Like if you're gonna do it, let's do it.
But why do you need someone better than Cody Ceci?
Because I don't think Cody Ceci is a top pairing D man on a Stanley Cup contender.
But do you think Evan Bouchard is?
Evan Bouchard, no. I think you need someone that's more trustworthy in their own end. You need right shot Ekholm or something along those lines.
Like Brett Pesci.
Yeah,
Good
like oh my
points.
god, if you get Brett Pesci, I mean, there's no way. But
There's
like,
no way, but like
that's the
that would
thing.
be my stud target.
Yeah.
So Walker is a UFA at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think that's why it'd be an option. But now, as obviously, like this past deadline, and maybe the one before, like the NHL has clearly expanded past just 1 year rentals. Like they don't care how long's left, and they can get you on a deal, right? Since
Yep.
we have more often, so maybe I'll expand my horizons a little bit. But that'd be nice. Pesci.
Yeah, like finding a good right shot D man somewhere is going to be very tough. We're
Tyler,
good.
let me hear you say no. Ethan Bear?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Okay,
that
go ahead.
mailbag question.
Yeah, it drove me nuts because it's like I like him as a guy, as a player. Like
So if you haven't read the mailbag, OilersNation.com every Monday at 7 a.m. I haven't missed one in 10 years. Now, the question was, do you think
I miss about one every 2 weeks.
every Monday, 7 a.m., there's been a mailbag for 10 years?
That is impressive.
Anyway, the question was, do you think, and I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but like, do you think the Oilers should trade Brett Kulak, bump up Philip Broberg, and then sign
Ethan Bear.
Ethan
Ethan
Bear,
Bear.
something like that,
So then
and
you-
for a cap savings of whatever?
Yeah.
And my answer was no. Today, Brett Kulak is objectively better than both other guys. Why
Yeah.
would we do that?
I think I put in there for mine. If you had asked me about this in the summer, I think it would have been more of an option. But you can't do that on the fly in the middle of the season when you know Broberg's has no confidence. Although he did score today, and then you have Ethan Bear
Who
who
hasn't played?
hasn't played a game. So there's probably 15 games before they get up. We just seen Ekholm go through it.
Yep.
So now you want these guys just to be thrown.
What would you
into
say it
the
took
fire?
Ekholm? 16 games to
Yeah.
start to look more like himself?
620 maybe? Like
Maybe, yeah. Arguably.
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea. Like,
And
but,
he-
hey, if you want to bring in Bear and he's an option as a depth player, maybe you can go up and down. Absolutely. But he's not going to want to do that either.
Mm-mm. And like Gregor said, I doubt he would want to sign here anyway.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Buck's being courted by multiple teams, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's going to end up in Washington. That seems to be where all the
I was
smoke
talking to our
is.
boy Quads, who's definitely not a Canucks fan. That the Canucks have been told they're out of the Bear sweepstakes. I didn't know he was LeBron James.
Sweepstakes.
I love that. Yeah, sweepstakes. We'll throw that label anywhere.
Anyway, this next part needs to be read verbatim. For a limited time only, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code NATION25. That is 25% off, up to $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and you enter the code NATION25, all caps. Don't forget, that's the code, Liam.
Ding dong.
No, what's the code?
Nation 25, all caps.
For 25% off your first order with DoorDash, offer valid in Canada, subject to change, terms do apply. Because now it's time for the boys to tell me who delivered. Who delivered? Our friends at DoorDash. I'm going to jump right in the middle. Tyler, you're up first. Our friends at DoorDash, who delivered for you?
Should I just be greasy? Are we going to make a no McDavid rule? Do you have to go outside of 97 on this
You
one?
can do whatever you want, buddy. It's your show. I mean, you're part of the show.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or it's our show. It's your show, the listener. Go on.
Thanks.
It's your
Quick,
favorite show, the listener.
dig my hole.
I'm going with Zach Hyman, man. We're giving it to him again. Like, this dude is just a dog. He consistently goes out there, busts his ass. I think the trio of him, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins just complement each other's strengths so well. But like, the Oilers got this dude for nothing other than a contract. And the contract looks freaking sweet right now. So Zach Hyman gets another who delivered for me.
I'll jump in next for, I was also going to say Zach Hyman, but I'll say who delivered for DoorDash is that old tweet from Editor and Leaf. Anytime Zach Hyman does anything, it circles the block. And after the second hat trick in a matter of 3 weeks or whatever it was, that tweet finally got deleted. But the internet never forgets. The internet has screenshots. And the internet will bring it up every single time. So the internet, you delivered. And Tyler, I don't know if you know this, Wendy sent me Kanye's new album today.
He's got it. He's got it on a leak.
Got on that leak. The internet always delivers.
I was listening to Kanye West the other day. He's got some beats. I'm not really in the hip hop game, but I recently started using Spotify because I want to rap next season. So I thought, oh, Kanye might be good to have on that rap.
Or you just want to make yours the coolest possible rap you can have?
1 week on mute.
Awesome.
Kanye West on repeat.
There you go. Nation Dan, you're up next for our friends at DoorDash. Who delivered for you?
I think I did this last time as well. I'm going to give it to our goalies because for me, this streak of 7 games plus the one before that was really due to the fact that those guys just kind of solidified the back end for this team, and there just doesn't seem to be as many leaky games as there used to be. So the guys in the nets are the ones that deliver for me.
Liam, what do you got for our friends at DoorDash? Who delivered for you?
Evan Bouchard. The Bouch bomb delivered. That man is hammering on all cylinders right now, and it is very impressive to watch. And I think he's got a pretty good case to maybe win Norris eventually, if things continue trending in the right direction.
If he wins the Norris Trophy ever, no one is going to have a worse time on the internet than Jay Downton.
I think he's got a case. Like, I don't think he's the number one candidate, but I bet he'll get some votes this year, and he'll be finishing the top 5 of voting. I think he's good.
People love points.
Defense does not matter, and that was made evident last season when Eric Carlson won, and he was like minus 700 or whatever he was. Right?
Yeah.
Seeing what his distance traveled is.
No, I wanted to look at like his average shot distance and all that stuff.
What you got? You find anything fun?
The hardest he shot a puck is 100.48 miles per hour. And there was some stat. Oh, his average shot speed is in the 91st percentile in the NHL. He has had one shot of 100 miles per hour. He has had 32 shots this season over 90 miles an hour, which is in the 99th percentile in the NHL. So pretty good. The league average by D-men is 2 shots over 90 miles an hour.
He's got a bullet. It is fun though. Like, it reminds me, Dan, you're old enough to remember when Sheldon Surrey came.
Mm-hmm.
And the power play just had a completely different look because it was doing its own thing. At that time, it was very much the cross crease pass to Horkov on the back door. That was kind of like the finishing move. But then when Surrey had that big shot from the point. It just changed everything. And that's not to say Tyson Barrie did a bad job, but he doesn't have a shot like that.
No.
And Bush still passes the puck
Just
as well, if not better than Barrie. And the other thing too, like the Surrey one, the thing that's funny about this is Evan Bouchard, I think without a doubt, top 5 shot in the NHL. You could probably say top 3. You could maybe even make an argument right now he's got the best point shot in the league. And he's being added to a power play with 2 future Hall of Famers and a 100-point player and a potential 40-goal guy. Like, come on, it's an embarrassment of riches.
We might find out. Maybe he's an all-star this year.
He better be.
And he'll be in the hardest shot. We haven't seen someone like that since, like, we haven't. Remember the Chara and Weber?
Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome every year. That's why it shouldn't just be all-stars that go into the skills contest. Should be like the best of that group. And then you can really see who the best is in the league. And the NBA does it.
I wonder how hard he can hit. Because, like, we saw Hronek had a shot that was, 104 or something earlier this year, or 107. And I mean, Bouchard, he's teeing these up on one-timers, right? So it's easier to get some extra oomph behind it. I'd be interested to see if he can still touch triple digits when he just walks into one.
I think so, because like they fucking line up from the parking lot on that competition.
Yeah, they give a good run up for it. We'll see him. I think it'll be McDavid, Hyman, and Bouchard this year.
It is funny that Leon's still on pace for 100 points, and people go,
I just wonder if, like,
not this year.
I just think it'd be funny to have Hyman go to the All-Star game in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting last night. I was actually watching the Leafs game last night. I didn't know Hyman and what's his name? Morgan Riley have a commercial together right now.
Yeah, they have the isn't it a gambling one?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
They don't pay for an plug on this podcast. I think it was interesting anyway. Yeah.
Not as good as the commercial.
Calls him Mo.
Not as good as the commercial Darnell and Zach do. That one's better.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Connor and
the
Wayne.
Pronger commercial with Dry and
Mitch Marner.
and Marner.
The classic is the Mark Messier with Connor. Hey, Connor.
Look at this.
Hey, Connor, check this out. Hey, Connor.
Or Devin
That was
Dubnyk.
so funny.
Yeah, Devin Dubnyk.
Epicor.
Oh. Yeah, those are good. The old Oilers TV commercials. Love those. Love those. Want to talk about today's game, gentlemen. The first meeting of the Connors. Not Connor Brown.
He's in the mix.
They met in Erie. By the way, just real quick. Connor Brown couldn't buy a goal to save his fucking life right now. And when the goal on Sunday got waved off after his big fist pump and after everybody was piling on and patting him on the back and stuff, it made me laugh out loud just because it's just like, of course that happened to Connor Brown.
I know. And like the game before, he hit the bar. And then the one before that, he got like the goalie made a great save, like a toe save. It's like,
Playing
man.
so much better though overall.
Oh yeah, like
Just
at
love
least
his
he's
game
getting
now.
those chances. Like he wasn't doing anything.
I feel like it's going to be like a little bit of a McLeod situation where once he gets the first one, it's going to open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But like right now, it makes me laugh because it's just, it's sports.
Hopefully that feeling of getting the celebration, everything was still helpful.
Sparked him a little.
Yeah. We'll see. Like, I wonder if the Oilers have an empty net opportunity tonight, if he'll be over the board.
I was surprised that he wasn't on it against New Jersey when it was Kane that ultimately got the empty net.
Right.
Man, you got to pass that puck back to Pickard and let him take his shot. Though.
Oh, come on.
He deserved
With
it.
4 minutes left to go. Let the
Tristan
goalie
Jarry,
take
he
a shot.
jarred one.
That was unreal.
It was a great shot. So I want to talk about tonight's game against Chicago. First question, we'll get to Connor Bedard in a second, but like this almost like not a must win in the literal sense, but like Chicago's in 31st place. You got to find a way to win this. No?
And they're so junk. Like they barely have a roster of NHL players. Like this is borderline worse than anything we saw in the decade of darkness. Like there's zero talent on this hockey team.
Like
So
Taylor Hall down, gone for the season.
yeah, Corey Perry.
down, gone for the season.
Yep.
Who else do they have? Is Jujhar Khaira the first line left winger? Like what is going on?
He's in mini now, actually. Surprisingly.
Foligno.
Nick Foligno, Philip Kurashev.
Is Ryan Donato out too? Because he was playing first line for them.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if he's playing tonight. Is he?
Oh, there he is on the fourth line now.
Fourth line.
Johnson and
But back to the
Seth
question.
Jones.
Do you think this is like almost what you got to win this, boys?
I said my short forward giant key to victory today on Owen Everyday was pretend you're not playing the Hawks. Because the Oilers love playing down to the competition. You need to go into this, and Kris Knoblauch's got to somehow convince the team, like, hey, guys, they changed the schedule. We're playing the Kings tonight. And then just
wearing their jerseys?
Yeah.
They're
Black
wearing red.
Yeah, weird, but they're just
Yeah.
wearing the black.
This is such a winnable game, and like one where I know the betting line tonight. Shout out to our friends at Betway. It's 2.5. The spread's 2.5.
Money line was minus 450.
Ugh, come on. Still finding creative ways to get some value on Betway because it's easy to do it with them. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. But like it's one of those games that's like barely even worth betting on the Oilers because they're such massive favorites. They got to take care of business.
Although I did get impromptu betting segment. I did get Leon Draisaitl anytime goal plus 110, and I also got Bouchard shot prop plus 110.
Connor McDavid power play point minus 110. Free.
Lock it in.
Dan, is this a must-win game when you're going up against a team that, like, I know not literal must-win, but in the spiritual sense?
It's tough. It's a tough answer to give just because of the small sample size with Knoblauch. You don't know if this team does, struggle tonight. That does just derail this winning streak that we're having right now. But I don't know. I always just feel like a team like the Blackhawks could just sneak up on you and get a couple of early goals against you and then just have you deflated. So I hope it doesn't happen, but I don't know if it necessarily ruins everything if they go out and lose this game myself.
Like, it's not that I think it would ruin things, but like this is one of those ones where you look at the schedule and you go, all right, you got to figure it out.
Yep.
They're ones that, yes, I think if we look back, going forward down the line and then you're in that playoff battle, you definitely look back at these battles if you don't win them and question things. But I don't know. I just feel like this team is not in dire straits to be able to make the playoffs. I still don't believe that to be true, watching the 7-game win streak and what it can do for us.
Yeah, I mean, a 7-game heater definitely changes the perspective on things a little bit. I still don't think they can go through or really afford a stretch where they lose like 3 of 4. And then when you look at
That's
Tampa,
kind of my larger point.
yeah, like when you look at Tampa coming up still and Florida on the homestand, then the road trip starts with an Islanders team that's won 7 of their last 10, and the Rangers
in New York. Week.
That Rangers team is looking like the best team in the NHL.
And that's the second half of a back-to-back.
You maybe have some scheduled losses coming up. So just take care of this game and put the points in the bank.
Liam, must win in the spiritual sense?
I guess. I think every game is kind of a must win because of the hole they put themselves in, right? You gotta dig your way out, and they've done a very good job of doing it under this new coaching staff.
So as today,
I just think they're playing so good. Like, I'm not worried about the Blackhawks. Peter Mrazek's actually been pretty good, but like Seth Jones isn't going to play tonight. But
he's not playing either.
That's what Greg has said.
Can you read me the 6 D-men that are playing tonight for the Chicago Blackhawks, please, Liam?
How many of them are real people?
Yeah, ready? Okay, everyone throw up 6. I haven't looked yet. How many names do you know?
Okay.
Brent Seabrook.
Philip
Duncan Keith.
Brian Campbell.
Philip Roos.
That's not a real person.
Connor Murphy.
I know him.
Okay, that one. I know that.
Isaac Phillips.
No.
Nikita Zaitsev.
I know Zaitsev.
Okay, I know him. Yep.
Alex Vlasic.
Not Mark.
Is he related to Mark Vlasic?
Nope. Luis Crevier.
I knew 2 of those players.
Yeah, I didn't know any of them. So there you go. Like,
so
Connor
Brent
McDavid's
Seabrook
going
is
up
not
against it.
playing, you're saying?
No, and neither's the what's that Swedish guy called? Jalmerson?
Nick Chalmers.
Nick Chalmers.
No,
Johnny Oduya, Brian Campbell.
I used to love saying, "Who do you, Johnny Oduya?"
Didn't they have? They had there's a young prospect defenseman,
Kevin Korchinski, but I think they're sending him to World Junior Camp, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't they have
He's also
another one
injured.
too from Sweden?
Yeah.
Is that had head injuries as a problem when they drafted him?
So currently,
Well, they had Boquist.
looking at the lines
Boquist is
here,
what I was
Yeah, they traded him.
okay.
first line according to dailyfaceoff.com currently is Anthony Beauvillier on the left side, Connor Bedard in the middle, Philip Kurashev on the right side. Thoughts?
What's worse, that or McDavid centering Ratty and Cahoon?
Oh boy.
Second line, Tyler Johnson, Cole Gutman,
What was that one?
Gutman, and Taylor Radish.
That's an NHL line.
Deadline pickup.
Taylor Radish.
Liam, one of those guys, Cole Gutman?
Cole Gutman.
Gutman.
He's only like 22, I think.
Okay, but that doesn't make it an NHL line just because
Well,
he's young.
I mean, in comparison to the other lines.
Sure.
Third line, you got Nick Foligno, Jason Dickinson, and Joey Anderson.
Okay, those
That sounds
are
like a fourth line from the Decade of Darkness.
Yeah.
That's a third line, though.
Oh yeah. So, no, yeah.
Fourth line, you've got Lucas Reichel, Mackenzie Entwistle, and Ryan Donato.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
maybe better than their second line in a weird way.
Well, it's not in there, yeah.
They should play more tonight. The point is, like, I mean, this is 2 straight podcasts. One where we gush over Ohtani doesn't happen. If we sit here and do this to the Hawks DFO lineup page and the Oilers lose, people listening to this pod tomorrow are going to be mad at us.
I think just like, you know what, though, if the Oilers go and play their game, if they play the way they did on Sunday against the Devils, against this lineup, you're going to be fine.
Also, Gutman, anytime scorer, bank it.
What are the
Cold
odds on the
gut
gut
man.
man?
He has 1 goal this season, by the way.
Real
Wow.
glue guy, though.
He's doubling that total tonight. We
He's
just
the
know.
guts of the team.
He is a glue guy
Their
in the lineup.
their power play is 10% on the year.
And Bedard has how many of those?
So we talked about this on O&E. John Goyens is former head coach in the QMJHL. He still does like power play consulting for teams around the league, and he comes on our show every week to give film breakdowns for us. And after the first couple weeks of the season, when Chicago's power play could not score, he came on and showed us like 12 clips of times where Bedard has zinged it to a guy in a scoring chance, and the guy like doesn't have his hand on his stick, or like the puck goes through his skates, or he whiffs on the shot because he's not expecting it to even make it through. Like, it's literally Bedard running around with like a bunch of guys who can't do anything.
So that is exactly why before the season started, when I think was it Frank that predicted 100-point season for Bedard?
Yeah.
That's exactly why I said it wasn't going to happen, is because the rest of the team is dog shit.
You need people around you. And we've seen it with the injuries. We've seen it with other things off the ice. People are just departing from Chicago around him. So it's a mess.
Connor Bedard in 27 games played has 23 points, 11 goals, 12 assists. Next up is Philip Kirshev with 16 points in 21 games. Then Jason Dickinson, 14 and 27. Nick Foligno, 12 and 27. So it falls off quite quickly.
Is Tyler Johnson good anymore?
10 points in 27 games, Tyler Johnson. Stanley Cup winner, Tyler Johnson.
Highest paid forward on the Hawks, Tyler Johnson.
I guess they probably can't even trade him because they need his cap hit.
Hmm.
I was just wondering. I'm just looking at their team right now. Obviously, everyone's basically a free agent. Everyone's a restricted or unrestricted free agent besides Kurashev, Ryan Donato, and Connor Bedard in their forward group.
What is the league min for the NHL cap? Do we know?
775.
No, like, what is the floor for a team?
Oh,
Because the Caps are dead last in terms of cap hit. 74.3 is what they're at. It's got to be pretty close to the floor,
I think it's like 68 or something, isn't it?
68.
So there's room to move.
So the Hawks can move out $7 million still. Yeah, I think you can have $20 million in free cap space. I don't even
Outside
know
of-
where you would want.
Team on team, what are you expecting from Connor versus Connor? I'm expecting our Connor to do Connor things.
Liam, for those watching on YouTube, has a little comparison of their first 17 games up on the board. Bedard's got him beat in the goals category. McDavid had a few more points by this point in his career through 27 games. I'm expecting Connor Bedard to shoot the puck a ton tonight and, best foot forward kind of thing for him. I bet you he's incredibly jacked up for his first chance to go toe-to-toe with McDavid. I bet you they're both in the starting lineup and both take the opening face-off against one another as well,
Adorable.
which will be very cute.
He did it against Sid.
Yep. So yeah, I bet you Bedard has a really noticeable hockey game. I bet you he'll be buzzing out there.
Dan, what do you think?
I hope it's a bit of a case of the bottom six getting to feast a little bit tonight myself. Connor, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just my perception, but Connor doesn't necessarily like blow these teams out of the water when he comes into the big matchups, unless it's Matthews in Toronto. That's usually one that he's up for. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. When I say Connor, I mean McDavid. I don't see him coming out of this with any kind of like extra spirit. I hope that the bottom six does on the flip side and sees the lineup that we've been looking at and does something with that. But
Connor, Connor. What do you expect?
I'm expecting a show. I think it'll be actually a pretty good game, to be honest, of just those two going head to head. I don't know. I don't know if I'm expecting anything unusual, to be honest. I'm expecting Bedard to try and set some guys up and for Chicago to slip and fall or something when they go to shoot the puck.
Got to be a bit of a mind fuck for Connor, 26, 27 years old. And it's like, oh, there's a new version of me now already. Like, oh,
I can't wait to see the next one 10 years from now. How good is that kid going to be?
Yeah.
Also named Connor.
There's a couple of kids.
I also I was a little disappointed in the Hughes brothers in the effort that they put out against us on Sunday. So
Jack Hughes is a championship diver. I didn't know that was a thing.
So they didn't, I guess, show this on the broadcast, I don't think, but it was noticeable in person. After Hughes dove, Ekholm went after him, and McDavid skated by Hughes and gave him like the stink eye and like kind of gave him a little like, don't do that.
wow.
It was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Like skated well out of his way to do it.
I was excited to watch some skill there, and I don't know. I just saw a lot of shenanigans and a lot of theatrics.
The thing I noticed about Luke Hughes, that kid has wheels.
Yeah, he's
I
big
mean, they're
boy,
both
too.
fast, but like that kid has wheels from the back
But
end.
Jesper Bratt was their best player.
He was for
Yeah.
sure.
Really? I thought Schmid was their best player,
Well, there you go.
especially when he gave the assist on McDavid's goal.
That was big.
That was very nice.
That was
of them.
really, really nice.
They beat him.
The only
8
Schmid I care
times.
about is Laddie. There you go. Thank you.
Yes.
Did you hear McDavid's answer when asked if he has any advice for Connor Bedard?
Please give it to us.
It's hilarious.
Ruthless.
We tweeted it, right? Or did just Waz tweet it? Damn it.
I thought it was.
Yeah, Waz
just
tweeted it.
Was.
Ah.
Not just
It's
was.
Waz on Twitter.
Just was would be
Just
a
was,
great
too.
handle.
Oh, just Waz is like,
Advice would you give a player like that? I'll answer this question for the 1,000th time. I don't get. There's not much advice that goes on around the league. You know, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He knows what he's doing. He's got a good group of guys on the other side to help him if he ever needs it, and he seems like he's handling everything well.
It's so true though. Like,
what do you want me
what
to
do you-
tell him?
what are you supposed to say? Like, they did a camp over the summer, right?
For the 1,000th time.
Feisty
Like-
Connor's my favorite Connor.
It's just silly.
That's why I hammered him at 3 points tonight.
The reporter that just asks the most benign question ever and just gets his
Connor's
head
like,
bit
shut
off.
the
Like, a better question would be like,
Is it a mind fuck to be 26 years old and already have to be asked questions about the next version of
or
yourself?
something like, who would have been the star? I guess it would have been Crosby, right? When McDavid came in, be
Yeah.
like,
Sid got asked a bunch of this stuff.
yeah, but I mean, you could ask McDavid, being like, what was it like when you went up against like you're an idol of when you were
Sid
a
and
rookie?
Ovi
Yeah,
and,
like
you know.
what was that like? That's probably a better question.
At least the media wasn't asking him about the Bedard or the Perry situation like they did in Winnipeg. Like I don't know. There's way worse questions that they could have been asked than
it's a harmless
Yeah, it's
question for
just-
sure.
I get it, whatever. And for McDavid too, he's right. He's answered that 1,000 times. Why does he have to answer?
It is funny.
1,001?
I'm pretty sure I've personally seen him answer it 3 or 4
Right.
now. It's just like, all right.
I do like how he does just kind of put down that comment though that we're like, listen, we're not here to help each other, man. Like the league doesn't help each other. They don't give advice to each other.
Yeah, like especially like mid-season.
Yeah.
Like I said, probably before in that camp, they probably spoke about some
They met
things.
and- yeah.
When inevitably Bedard gets invited to the All-Star game this year because Chicago has nobody else, they'll probably talk about a couple of things there too.
And Connor and Sid will both be there, and they'll do the 3 of them pictured
Mhm.
together.
And
It'll
they'll
be
ask
adorable.
him again.
Yeah.
Well, they'll get drafted. It's going to be a draft.
Oh, yeah, it is a
Oh, it is the
Oh,
draft.
that
It's so
is-
much better.
Bedard might be the last pick though.
Oh, Connor taking Bedard first overall in the fantasy draft, though?
Oh,
I would
Yeah,
do
that'd be cool.
first off. I would do Sid and Connor as the 2 captains.
That would be cool. Connor McDavid should take William Nylander. So then the speculation of Nylander to Edmonton begins, and we get the flip side of it.
Actually, I mean, the awkward part, because McDavid will probably do it. If he is one of those 4 captains, his first pick will probably be Zach Hyman.
Well, it was like when they did it in Ottawa, I think was one of them, right? And Alfredson was the captain, and he took like, what was his name? Milan
Hey, Duke? No. Milan Mikhailuk.
McKellick.
Yeah.
And then like it was like Spezza was like just took all these guys.
Yeah.
And then the first 6 picks for both teams are like, oh, he's from Ontario. He's got to be on my team.
I want Ovi lobbying for the car again.
I would
What if
love
he'll
to
go?
see. Personally, I'd like to see it be like Bieksa and Bissonnette making the picks for the teams.
They did say that every
That'd be
player
fun.
is going to have like a celeb joining them. So, I mean, that will be fun too if they hit it out of the park with the celebs.
I wonder. So on that, is that
So
gonna
Connor's
be-
going to get Chad Kroger.
Well, is it going to be celebrities from Edmonton? From Toronto. Or do
I
you
would-
think it'll be like who the players want to train?
Nah, it'll be from Toronto. I bet.
So Connor's going to get Chad Kroger. Matthews will get Pinball.
Who's going to get Bieber?
Well, Bieber's not showing up for this shit.
Or just like the most random one you could think of gets Bieber. Like the worst of the all-stars, like some
There'll be
random.
4 captains because it's still going to be 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 3-on-3 tournament still. So there's gonna be 4 captains,
Ooh.
which is also kind of cool in all of this.
I'm super into the draft.
Me
I was
too.
sad that they're giving. It was so much fun.
And I'm glad they're not doing what the NBA does too, where they just have LeBron and whoever the other captain is just go on TNT at halftime and just pick their teams. Like those who are good at doing it, whoever it is in the NBA, because NBA players have personality. But I loved,
How dare you?
like, it just adds to the All-Star weekend a little bit, right? Like the layers of it start with the draft, and then you go from there.
Got to tell you, on the 21st of December, so that is next Thursday, join the Oilers Nation crew live on YouTube for another watch along. You can watch Liam. Come stare at Liam. It's fun. Come chat with us, watch the game, possibly win some stuff too. We've got prizes to give away. We've been workshopping this.
Yes.
We're looking to upgrade the watch alongs. We're looking to get you involved. I'm looking forward to this one. So that is on Thursday against the Devils.
Yep. Not the
Against the
Islanders.
Devils.
Tricked
Nope.
you all.
Nope, that is on Tuesday. You rascal.
Well, there goes all my notes.
You had a bunch of like Lou Lamoriello tributes and stuff.
Got it all. I got a line to his telephone.
Interesting sports story. Just last night, watching Tavares hit his 1,000th point in New York, while Islanders fans were booing him every time he touched the puck. It was
And
great.
people-
Good sports.
Yeah, like Carlo Koliakovo and a bunch of people calling out Islander fans saying they should have cheered for him. Like,
No.
what?
Hell no.
No,
At some point, 20 years from now, they will have their kiss and make up moment,
course.
like every fan base does with the stars that leave. But for now, and also the Leafs fans who are like trying to get all up on their high horse, being like, it's time to, like, this is unfair to Tavares, blah, blah. It's not that deep. It's sports, man. Like, boo.
Also,
They're booing him. Who cares?
it was also only like 2 weeks ago you were all criticizing him for his effort on the overtime goal against Boston. So get off your, what do they call it, milk cartons, milk crates,
Soapbox.
soapbox,
No carton too.
or stands.
Sure.
I just, you know what? Booing a guy, that's just good sports.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Like, there's history there. There's a story there. He chose them. Like, it just, whatever.
It's sports, baby.
It was perfect that it happened in New York.
Yeah, it's great.
With his dad watching.
Yeah, on the
And then-
dad's trip. Come on.
And then Mitch Marner's dad not reacting at all to the tying goal, just sitting there.
Does Mitch Marner's dad still talk shit on Twitter all the time? Is that still a thing he does?
I think he knows not to do it from his own account now.
I hate when people learn those lessons. Let me see. Hang on one sec, Tyler. Bear with me. I'll have a
Absolutely.
look at something.
Good chance for me to remind everyone that we're going to Arizona in February, and you can join us. Nation Vacation, brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross.
Jack Maxwell hasn't tweeted in months.
Really? I wonder what significant events have happened since the last time Jack Maxwell tweeted.
Must be on Threads now.
It was the alleged burner account of Eugene Melnick. Rest in peace.
I think he's just on Threads. Look for Jack Maxwell on Threads.
Oh no.
Another couple of things I just want to touch on really quickly before we get to Waz's signature segment. Can you clear that up for me? Little announcement that, of course, Kennedy finds on Lauren Kyle's Instagram
yeah.
when she was doing an AMA on the way to her vacation. We found out that the royal wedding will be July 27th, 2024. I've not got my invite yet. I imagine it's lost in transit somewhere. I'm sure it's coming. So anyway, if you're looking forward to celebrating Connor's wedding, even though you're not invited, there's the date for you.
Do we know what church it's going to be at yet?
There's no way it's in Edmonton, right?
No way.
What if it's exactly the same as Gretzky's wedding?
I bet
Nope.
you.
If that's nope, then I've got problems.
I bet you, just knowing McDavid and his privacy, this is not even going to be like an in Ontario wedding. I bet you this is somewhere far away.
Interesting.
How the old location went.
Yeah.
Maybe in like Napa Valley.
Or like
Maybe
Turks and Caicos, right? Like somewhere where he can just like basically rent out an island and be like, I know exactly who will be on this island.
Liam, you going?
Yeah, I've been speaking to Lauren and Connor about my invite. I'm just trying to negotiate +1 right now.
I picked the fish, personally.
You always go with the other option so that they know that you're coming.
Yeah.
They know you've been thinking about it.
Yeah. Not just the chicken. I want the fish this time. I'm looking forward to it. I heard they're having a fondue fountain. Their midnight meal will be nothing but DoorDashed items. It all makes sense. Wendy's, the chicken fingers and
French toast sticks,
Yeah.
surreptitious.
Serendipitous.
delicious. Wow, it all gets tied together.
Should we go get Waz?
It is time to get Waz for his signature segment. Can you clear that up for me? If there's one thing better than sharing memories, that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information, including on our nation vacation to Arizona that's coming up in February. Come join us to watch Edmonton take on Arizona in a tiny little barn. It's little. 4,600 people. We're going to take up a fair chunk of it. We're going to cheer loud. We'll all be wearing blue and orange. We're all going to look sexy. Now it's time for Waz's signature bit. It's not a game. It is a segment called Can You Clear That Up For Me, Waz? What do you got today?
The first thing I got here for Clear This Up For Me is, so starting off with how McDavid has been playing. It's resulted in the team playing better. Fans outside Edmonton, you haters, will say, well, this just shows how much the Oilers rely on McDavid. How would you respond to that? Is it really the McDavid show right now? Clear that up for me.
Connor McDavid is the best player on the Edmonton Oilers and should perform pretty much every night like every other star player in the NHL should.
It's not surprising to see the best player in the world play like the best player in the world. Like, are they relying a lot on McDavid right now? Yes, but I don't know, man. My truck relies on 4 tires to get right. Like, it's there. It's not going away. It's not like they're going to lose McDavid at the end of the season. They'll be like, he will always be here. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, just like, was this a question? I don't remember. Like, I guess Twitter wasn't as big then, but like, was this a question when Sid was just coming in and he put up the first 120 point season in forever? Like, oh, look at Pittsburgh's relying so much on this stud they've got on their roster. Oh, and they've also got Malkin too. Like, of course, Connor's gonna do Connor things.
I hate those arguments when it's like it's a better example when someone gets hurt. It's like, oh, they're nothing without him. So yeah, he takes up $12.5 million of their cap. If Connor McDavid wasn't on this team, they would replace him with probably 3 good players, and it's just so stupid.
Any team that had Connor McDavid on it would probably be dictated by how good Connor McDavid is playing. So yes, the Edmonton Oilers are a product of having the best player in the league be an Edmonton Oiler.
Connor could do Connor things. Waz, what else you got?
Next up is shifting gears a little bit. I saw this on dailyfaceoff.com. Can a rapidly declining Alex Ovechkin still break Gretzky's goal record? Is he declining or is he just snake bitten?
Interesting.
Both.
Well, I just traded Matt Barzell to somebody for him
in
a fantasy league. Somebody named Waz gave up on Ovechkin.
Yep.
So he's 67 goals back of Wayne, and Alex Ovechkin after this season has 2 more years left in his contract. So I still think he will do it. Like, let's even just do some quick math. Let's say he only gets 7 more goals this year. He's 60 back with 2 years left. Expecting Ovi to have 2 30-goal seasons is not insane. More realistically would be, he could probably score 17 between now and the end of the season. Then he only needs 2 25-goal seasons and he breaks the record. He'll still do it, but I will say this decline coming as sharp as it has me slightly less confident that he will. I'm like 90% sure he'll do it.
I am going to go, I'd be stunned if he doesn't. It kind of reminds me on a greater scale than in 2016-17. A lot of people were saying, oh, Ovi's done because he only scored 33 and 82. It wouldn't be surprising at all if he has this season where it's, bad by his standards. And then next year he goes back to scoring 40. I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's still going to get set up on the power play. It's still going to be from that spot that no one can seem to stop it from. I just can't see him not scoring at his normal clip, even though he's getting older.
I think before today or before the season, I would have said it's like 90% sure. Either way, to me, he would have already broken the record had it not been for the work stoppages and the crap that he had to go through versus what Wayne Gretzky had to do. So I think that's kind of like, I understand that passing him is the formality, but I really do think that Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer of all time in hockey.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He also has played as of right now in 115 less games. So I also think an interesting watch is, can he do it before he passes Wayne in games played too? Which the slowdown has me thinking no, but that's still not entirely out of the question. And
then coming back to my point too, he also had years robbed from him in his prime versus Gretzky's longevity.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know if he does it personally. I could see, I understand the logic of you're going to keep rolling out the Ovechkin carcass until he wants to not play the game anymore. But I just think that this slowdown is incredible enough that it may not happen.
But also, like, again, let's say 17 more goals this year,
Yep.
and then he just needs 50 in the final 2 years of his contract. If he's within 8, he's coming back for another season
another one
after that.
after that,
If
yep.
he's within 20, he's coming back for another
Yep.
season. Like,
That's fair.
I also just think it's at the point where, like, he will always get power play one time. He will always get top 6 minutes in Washington. He's too close now. If he
Yep.
was still 140 away, I'd be like, whoa, I don't think he's going to play enough games. But just being only 67 away right now, it's too close.
What else you got, Waz? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think he'll hit it, but I don't think he'll hit it within this contract.
How old is he right now again?
38.
He's
38?
He's just going to play until he gets it.
Guy's
Well,
a
that's what I'd say,
fossil
yeah.
Waz.
I know. I thought he was
Surprised
35.
he's
Yeah.
not dead.
He's a little older than Derek Ryan.
Yager played with the Flames in his 42nd year.
Yeah, he was-
So
I could see, like, Yager's obviously he's a machine.
Yeah.
But I could see Ovi doing that too.
and that's the thing is, like, when Yager played with the Flames, he obviously wasn't that good enough wasn't good enough to even be in the NHL at that point because he left mid-contract. But yeah, I mean, that's why I say Ovechkin, I can understand rolling out the dead carcass. I just think
If he still loves the game, he still loves scoring goals, he still loves doing what he does, then he'll probably play until the Caps tell him he's not allowed to anymore.
So, next question I have here. Against the Minnesota Wild, Connor McDavid scored a beautiful goal against Fleury. I saw comments, people hating, of course, and saying, why doesn't anybody just hit him? Just take him out, flatten him out. And some responses would say, well, because the league is soft, or, they'll get a 10-minute suspension, a game misconduct. Clear this up for me. Why aren't defensemen, like, more physical with flashy players and goals, for example?
Because they can't.
catch McDavid.
They can't hit him. Or they would.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a dumb observation. Was nothing to understand there.
Yeah, no, it's just...
I just think that, like, Connor's so much better than everyone else. It's just like, try.
Yeah.
It's not like Connor hasn't gotten hit before. Of course he has, but, like, it's way harder to hit him than somebody who doesn't have eyes on the back of his head.
I'm always a fan of fans that think that players have not thought of this before this moment.
Yeah.
And it's just, maybe I could have hit Connor. No, they absolutely would if they could. They didn't.
It's just like going back to his rookie season. He scores that goal against the Columbus Blue Jackets and goes through the entire team. They're like, why didn't they hit him? Because you can't. You can't.
He's just too good, right? And like the same breath, like, did anyone lay out Gretzky in the 80s? Like when there was all these bruisers?
They tried to.
Yeah, they tried to.
Who's that one guy that knocked out Gretzky that one time, Dan? Do you know?
Broughton, I think, is who you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Neil Broughton.
I think so. But that's all I got for Clear This Up for me. I was like you
There you
guys'
go.
takes, and always fun to hear. All right.
There's our boy Waz for our friends at Alberta Blue Cross. I hope you've had that cleared up for you.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.